So hi, my name is Cath Clark and I'm the founder and CEO of The Hops. The Hops Table is a health and wellness based business. We are based in KZN and we sell a wide range of powdered products that are pure, wholesome, have no fillers, no additives, no preservatives, colorants, fragrance, all of those things, just full of pure goodness, ready to assist people on their journey towards living a healthy, well-balanced life. So it's taken us probably 2 years of hard work to get to this point. So in February, we'll be launching in 63 Woolworths stores. And I think for my team, it really is an acknowledgement of many years of hard work, not only in product development, but also in terms of food safety and getting our facility to a level that we could be accepted into Woolworths. So a very proud moment for me when that truck pulled up. So interestingly enough, over COVID, we really were an online focused business. So just obviously for people watching who are entrepreneurial and just thinking, how do I get into the market? We didn't launch this brand anticipating that we would be on a Woolworths shelf or a Checkers shelf or Dis-Chem or Clicks or any of those places that you can now find our product. We launched really with the online market in mind. And COVID happened at a time where we had actually not through any intention of our own necessarily, but we had positioned ourselves really well through social media and we built a brand awareness and presence. And when people shifted to that online shopping kind of mentality through that COVID season, our online sales grew astronomically. We had a varied online presence, so it wasn't only through our own online store. So I don't know in this country that having your own online store only is maybe the best way of going about things, but we had our online store. We had a great relationship with One Day Only, and that relationship started really early on for us, and has been one of the best relationships that we've built, and to this day probably our biggest customer. And we had built our own merchant store on Cath Clark very successfully. And then you could also consider a Faithful to Nature really, they have one retail outlet, but they're largely an online store. And so that online presence grew dramatically through COVID. And then because that presence then became quite well known, some of the big retailers actually started coming to us. And I think that is just a true acknowledgement of doing a good job. So great to not have to go to them. Checkers came to us. Clicks had us on their radar and had wanted to list us. I actually approached them, but they had said we were already on their list of stores or brands to launch. And then there was some hard nuts to crack. So some stores just take perseverance. Dis-Chem was one of those, and Woolworths. I think there were times where the Woolworths buyer probably wanted to tell me that I was like a dripping tap, but he was very gracious. But you know, through perseverance and actually our initial conversation with Woolworths, there was interest, but never to launch our own brand in store. It would have been white labeled. And the feedback I received from them was that to have your own brand listed in Woolworths, it has to be a household name. And so I think in February, when our own brand goes onto the shelf, will be an incredibly proud moment for us that I think we have in the health world become a household name. And yeah, it's a great acknowledgement of that. So easy to look back and actually then identify, but at the time, I wish I could tell you that I had this business plan all laid out and this is where we wanted to end up, and that actually wasn't the case at all. But I think that's part of the reason why we have been successful. So I am a chartered accountant by profession. At the age of 20, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and while I was studying my degree, I, through that journey, started really investigating what foods I should be eating to look after my body. How did I end up here? And that's become this lifelong journey of just learning about health and wellness. So although I was working in the accounting profession, I had this passion for healthy eating and had always wanted to start a business in that field. Then probably around 5 or 6 years ago, I started looking for certain products as I became more aware of like a bone broth, for example. So anyone who's cooked bone broth knows how laborious that process is, and it's really not pleasant and takes days and your home stinks, and I just thought I can't actually do this. So I know it's great for my guts, but this just isn't practical for someone living a busy life. There must be a better solution. And that literally that moment was really the start of building a business. So I think the first thing to note is build something out of your passion. I'd looked for years for something I could do to start as a business. I'd always wanted to run my own business. And I found the more that I tried to overanalyze it or come up with concepts, the less successful that would have been. But as soon as I just let this passion in me kind of turn into a business, the world has become my oyster. So I think then, asking that question, can I do this in a simpler way? We found a powdered bone broth from Sweden that was organic, started bringing that in for my own family and friends, and then thought, well, this could be a nice sideline business just to pay for some travel. We love to travel. I thought it'd be great to have a business that could just kind of earn a bit on the side and be our travel money. And it really just grew from there. And I think the second point to note is just to be brave, just go for it in business. So, I didn't sit back and think, if I approach Wellness Warehouse, what if they say no, or it's unlikely they're going to accept us. I just started approaching stores, maybe in a naivety around how the retail sector actually worked. And because we had chosen to package in a glass bottle and it looked different on shelf, and I think there was interest in the product because of the way it looked, maybe more than what the product actually was to start. We were accepted into Wellness Warehouse and Faithful to Nature very early on, which I now understand is quite difficult to achieve. So they saw something different, they listed us. I think our first order for Faithful to Nature was a full pallet, and we thought, oh my gosh, how are we even going to achieve this? It was just that bravery, that just, I don't know, I was just in this for the passion and the joy of it. And I think we still really try and hold on to that as a team, just so we can do things differently. We've had many people over the years come to us and say, you shouldn't do that, why do you do that, why do you do business with one day only? And we've chosen to do it a certain way, and it works for us, and we're proud of the way that we do business. We build relationships in business, and we have from the beginning. So we build relationship with our suppliers, with our distributors, our retailers. And in fact, if we go and we do visits around the country, my team come back and say that was such a great experience because we become friends with the people that we work with. And that really was birthed out of a passion when the business started. So if I can just encourage entrepreneurs watching, is just find your passion and just go after it wholeheartedly. Create your own legacy, create your own way of doing business. You don't have to look at the status quo or the way things have been done in the past. You can actually create a new way and be successful in that. So I think probably one of the things that's stood us in good stead is we have been fastidious with our cash flow management. And I think that cash flow is one of the things that can really hurt small businesses. So if you aren't an accountant starting a business, you might not understand that. You might look and go, well, I made a profit of whatever it is, and I can take that out the business and that's mine. But actually, I didn't draw a salary from the time I joined this business full time. And initially, my husband sort of ran it along with a few other things. I joined just before lockdown in March of 2020. I didn't draw a salary for the first year. And so I knew, I could see then the potential that actually was going to unfold. And I was prepared to invest into that. So we were fastidious with our cash flow management. And I also was fastidious about my stock control. So when we went into lockdown, I bought as much stock as was available, and that required cash. And so the good cash flow allowed us to be able to do that. It's not that it hasn't been tight at times, and there are times where we wonder, even now, we've grown to a point where I think many people would look at the business and go, wow, what a success, you must be doing so well. And we are absolutely privileged and blessed, but there's still days we think, if only we had a sideline business that could pay for our holidays. I feel like I've come full circle, because this really is a commitment now, and investments. We still are putting funds in. Every new opportunity we see is an investment into something new. So I think as an entrepreneur, you really have to have your mind right at the outset as to what you want out of it. For me, financial gain, maybe one day it would be great, but actually the fact that we get to employ nearly 50 people, we're supporting hundreds of people, obviously through extended families in this business. We are putting money into the local KZN economy. We are paying our taxes and trusting that those funds get well used to run the country. And that is a privilege and a joy. So the financial gain may come later. So it's just to get your head around that at the start. If you are an entrepreneur wanting to make lots of money out of your venture, things could be tough on the road. So I was very privileged to have an experience straight out of articles at a business where it was owner managed, and the owner had had cash flow experiences in the past that had made him very anxious around either getting too close to that kind of 0 point in the bank balance. And he taught me a lot around focusing your business on cash flow as opposed to profit and loss. I'm very thankful for that experience. So I think if you are someone who's running a business and you don't have that experience, you're not a CA, or you don't even understand how you would manage cash flow outside of just looking at profit and loss, is find someone who does know. Just find, so something that we've done from the start is we've got people that we can pull in just to assist, just in counsel. So we've got a greater community that loves us and loves this business, and will pour their knowledge into this. Go and find those people. There's no need to be proud and think that you know it all. You really don't have to. And I think humility in running a business is one of the best things for a business leader. So go and find those people. There are lots of people out there. There are people who give their time freely to assist small business. So go and find. I've got people that I mentor. I've got people who mentor me. It's incredibly important in the journey. So if you don't have the experience, go and find someone who does. So I would say just understanding what your cash flow is, how much money do you have in the bank currently, what is going to come in the next month, and what is going to go out. I started, for the first year of being full-time in my own business myself, I was marketing, I was finance, I was everything. So I had a lot going on. And I would literally just get my diary out and I would start mapping in pencil, writing out, I knew month end was coming, this is the cash we had in the bank, this is what I knew would be paid, and this is what I knew had to come out. And that's as simple as it then needed to be at that time. Now I've got a finance team and they need to worry about that, but sometimes I still go back to that basic principle, write it down so that you can see it. I know that this is coming in, and you'll learn in retail if you go into that kind of space. Not everyone pays at the end of the month. Some people are 60 days, 90 days. Then December, this amazing thing happens in December. They all go on holiday and no one pays their accounts. It's incredible. So it's just really understanding truly what you think will come in at the end of the month and what's got to go out. And if that doesn't agree, so if there's more going out than is coming in, give yourself time to figure out what that's going to look like. So you can be making all the profit in the world. It doesn't mean you can have the cash in the bank. We now have a good relationship with our bank, and that's allowed us to have an overdraft and lending facilities. And when you are running a business, there's what you would call a capital expense, not only your normal monthly expense. So we have built a food safe facility here. It's cost us a lot of money. That doesn't sit on your income statement, but it's cash still going out. So it's just trying to understand all of those things and then find the right partners in enough time where you need to. Something that I am very particular on is we always pay our bills on time. So just because we are being paid late doesn't mean we pay late. And building that good relationship with your suppliers then means if we ever do need help, that they are very willing. If I had to say, and we've never had to, but if we did have to say, this month, would you mind giving us a few more days? I know that our suppliers wouldn't have an issue with that because we've never paid them late. So just a word of encouragement to anyone starting a business is be very particular about your accounts. You don't have to be a CA to do that. Just pay your accounts on time. And build good relationships. There's nothing worse than somebody who doesn't pay their accounts and there's no communication around that later, that you might regret that. So That's the first thing. Secondly, go and find people who can be a backup. Is it your bank? I know it's very difficult when you start a business and you've got no history. We were banking with one bank that wouldn't give me a credit card, and by then we were actually doing quite well. I mean, we were still at branch level. We hadn't gone to the central business bank. They wouldn't come and see me. It just wasn't going to work. So eventually they actually moved me to business banking, and then the bank, the next week, the banker had a breakdown and had to go on leave, and they never reassigned me. And I just thought, this isn't going to work. Okay, so I need someone who'll come and sit around the table with me, understand my business. And so we moved. It was the best thing we ever did. Got an overdraft, got a credit card, and it's just a good thing to have. Just that end of the month, that crossover of receiving money versus paying money, we've got that comfort. So go and build a good relationship with your bank, and make sure they understand you, that they are passionate about your business. If your bank isn't, go and find another one. And that's probably one of the best things that we did early on. So I would say just having regular interactions. So don't just speak to the bank when you meet them. It's just make sure that you have whatever it is. It doesn't have to be often. Once every 6 months, call them in. This is an update. Here are management accounts. This is what we're doing. Obviously, as soon as you start signing blue chip kind of deals, so they get very excited if you tell them you're sending product into a check as a discount or so that does help, but keep them updated in that process. So if you wait to communicate with your bank when you really need them, it could be too late, it could take too long. I know now that we have a good enough relationship that if let's say at the end of this month we had to purchase a lot of stock for the Woolworths stock to go in, and we needed more overdraft, they could turn that on very quickly for us. If I don't keep them up to date and they don't know what's going on, that could take weeks that you sometimes don't have. So it might be a hassle, but just keep them in the loop. I think sit down, when you get to that point in your business that you feel this is going places, I need to now actually have a good strategy around my growth. Think about who that team is that you're going to take with you. Do you need legal counsel? We now have legal counsel that understands our business, that is on call if we ever need anything, and it can be trademarking, something as simple as now we have a trademark team who are watching. There's a new harvest table that pops up. We need to do some work around that. Whatever that is for you, your bank definitely needs to be part of that team. Just involve them, include them, send them management accounts, keep them up to date. So when we first started, we had a factory unit, actually still where we're currently based, that we had a few businesses that had sort of come from my dad and my mom, and were sort of limping along in the space. And my husband, who's a quantity surveyor, was sort of overseeing all of that. And Harvest Table actually was made up of one room, and that's actually the room that we're filming this interview in now. And we had first one and then two ladies packing in this room. Actually, when we first started, my mom used to still be involved in her business that was here, so she would sit in the same room as the packing, following all protocols in terms of the regulations at the time, kind of basic food safety. But she would be here in the morning, in the afternoon they pack, and then she'd come back the next day and her desk was covered in puffs of collagen. And we thought this isn't going to work, so we had to move her out. And then very soon we thought we can't actually do this, so we pushed the other businesses like into the corner of this factory and kind of moved into the full factory space. But we needed to get them out as quickly as we could. So the one moved into someone's garage, and the other business we actually sold. And my mom also owned another factory in the same complex. She had a tenant in there. And I said to Sam, my husband, we really need that space so we can do all of our packaging here to food safety requirements, and then have all of our boxing and dispatching from somewhere else. So we approached that tenant, and he said, sure, he didn't mind moving, even though his lease wasn't up. Really just the favour we've seen over this business. So he found another space that he said is actually bigger and suits him more, and so off he went. So we moved into that space. Very quickly we thought this isn't enough space. We need a full production facility, we need a dispatch facility, and we need a facility to house all the raw materials. And if you go through a food safety process, you'll understand why it's all segmented and everything has different protocols that you follow in each unit. So quite nice to have them segregated. And I really just prayed and said, God, I need more space. And from people saying we're never leaving here, we would just get a call. So the one unit's called and said they actually decided to move to Cape Town. Did we want the unit? We said absolutely. The other units, the tenants who had been in there actually hadn't been paying for a few months, hadn't paid rent, so the landlord decided he'd rather have us in there. So we rent that one. And we just went from being in a boardroom to suddenly having all of the space, but really then being able to grow into this future that I, by that time, had kind of seen was possible. So what started as the sideline, I realized actually was this fulfillment of this dream that I actually always had in my heart, to start something that was my own, to employ people, to just add into the economy. It's something that I was excited about. I'm passionate about health. I'm passionate about brands and building brands. I'm also just passionate about business. I just love it. I love the intricacies of it. I love developing people in it. I love working with the team. And so we just quickly saw that this had a lot more in it for our future. So yeah, I mean, as we said, we've added the pharmacy, so Discount and Clicks. We were approached by Checkers and on Checkers pretty much nationwide. And that's also been interesting, building a relationship with them, starting to communicate at really senior levels there and starting to understand retail in a completely different way. And now with the product going into Woolworths. Our next focus really will be offshore growth. So we have products already going into Lulu, which is a chain similar to Checkers, but across the Middle East. So building a really good relationship with them. And you can find us now in Dubai, Qatar, Bahrain, kind of all over the Middle East, which is really exciting. And so my team know that kind of they're looking for more opportunity in that area, obviously to earn a foreign currency, and just give us some continuity of income in a country with a stronger currency. So that is our major goal for this year. We're also hoping to launch a UK online store. Lots of protocols there around getting sign-off for our facility by state vet, so we can export, so that is all now in place. And now our next step will just be testing shipping methods and getting that all set up. So really exciting. And someone said to me this last week, why do you want to keep growing? Like, aren't you just happy with the way it is? And I thought, well, yeah, but just the challenge of seeing it grow, but also just the ability to be able to employ more people, add more into our local economy, why not? And we believe that we have a really great product that can actually sit on a global shelf, attract global customers and add value across the world, so why not? So when we first started this business, we had a lady that we brought on who was actually helping in one of our other businesses where she wasn't needed every day. So she came in to package the product. Her name was Nunu. She's still with us today. My husband Sam was kind of overseeing things. And then we had Kim, who ran our dispatch for our other businesses, who was obviously helping dispatch our products. And then very quickly we brought Carol on board. So Carol actually now is our quality supervisor. So it's been really great to see her develop. So she came on to start packing. She wasn't even full-time at the start. So she just came a few days a week. And every day she'd say to me, like, when can I come full-time? When can I come full-time? And I said, just have faith, it's going to happen. And it's incredible to also see people like that grow into more senior roles. And it really is one of the greatest joys just to see how people are able to improve themselves and improve their families. And that is one of the reasons why we do what we do. We very quickly, we then moved out of this kind of what is now boardroom space into the full factory space. Started acquiring staff at quite a rapid rate. So one of the first areas that we actually then employed was in our quality team. At the time, I didn't realize what a big job that was to create a fully food safe facility. And I had a friend who, I'd had a friend from church for many years, and she messaged me one morning actually to ask if I could give her a referral for a business that I used to work in, because she was in the process of being retrenched, and this was during COVID when obviously a lot of businesses were downscaling. And I said to her, well, would you be interested in coming to work for me? So she did absolutely. And she's still with us as well. She is now our head of product. Her name is Zaldi. And she's just brought an incredible knowledge just around quality and safety that when we had that initial conversation, didn't even ask for a CV. This really has been this journey of, well, as people have been brought to me, we've just kind of brought them on. And I'm so thankful that we've had these amazing people join our team with these incredible skills. And I just didn't even realize it when I was bringing them on. So she has taken our quality to the next level. She has got us GFSI accredited, which is a global food safety initiative. That is our kind of intermediate step into our full food safety, FSC 22000, which I think now is even something else now. So Sam, my husband, and who really ran that whole quality side. And she now has on board, a team of people who are ensuring that the quality is maintained from the time the goods arrive. There's a process that we follow to the time that bottle leaves our store. So it's really awesome to be able to know when someone says, oh, I found this in my product, we can go, wasn't from us. So my mom the one day came to me and said, I found this little fleck in my collagen granules. So I said to her, well, I can guarantee you that is not from our facility. So I looked closely at it and I said, is this not off your root coffee, label, like a little gold fleck? She said, oh, maybe it is. So just to be able to know now, hand on heart. So I think if people understand that kind of quality journey, that our packing tables are swabbed regularly to make sure that there's no bacteria in the facility. We do regular swabbing of our packers' hands to make sure that they're following the full hand washing protocol. They cannot wear earrings or false nails or false eyelashes. There are no buttons on shirts. The extent that you go to, so that you know that there is nothing that goes into your product except your product. And when we do change over from one product to another, there is a full wash down, a full sanitization. So that, for example, if we are packing our multi-collagen, which has fish in it, which is an allergen, and then we are packing our pure collagen after that there is no cross-contamination. So I often say to people, yes, there are other collagens on the market, and oh my goodness, some are at a lower price, but looking at the packaging, I can guarantee you that that is not packed in a facility that is up to standard, and you do not know what you're getting in that product. So I think if you take your health seriously, you need to really find a brand that you can trust, that you know has the same values as you do. So we say there are no fillers, there are no additives, there are no preservatives in one product, because I don't want to buy a product that is like that. And so you can be guaranteed when you buy a product that that is not the case. That is not the case for all brands. And so we really have kind of taken up the flag of waving the flag for the standard. And we have challenged some retailers on certain products that they're allowing into store, whether it be online or bricks and mortar, mainly online. So why are you allowing this? And really great to see a big online retailer actually got an email this week saying, because you're now listed on our store, we need all your food, very basic, but your basic food safety documents, otherwise your product will be removed. And I thought, that's great. That's come from me challenging them right up to CEO level to say, why do you not have food safety protocols in place when people list food products on your store? And they've now changed their whole system around that. So that makes me excited. We are not only creating an amazing product, but we are saying to the whole market that this is the standard. And I can tell you, to be on a Woolworths shelf, we have jumped through every hoop imaginable, and every statement that we make on the label is supported by documents that we can back it up, that it has been for every kind of test. They are DNA tested, they are, you name it, so that you know that if we say that it's marine collagen, it actually is fish and there's nothing else in it. You can't even understand the extent that they go to. So when you see a product on a Woolworths shelf, you can be very proud about that product because it is of the best quality. I think that everyone should work for someone else for a season. I don't think I would have been successful if I hadn't gone through the journey that I went through. Work with lots of different people, but go all in. So, I was at the first business I went into after articles. I was there for 8 or 10 years. I'm actually still involved in their charity arm. And I was very hungry when I was there, and that I kind of moved up to different things, and I would do anything. So I started as an accountant, but actually I got brought in a new business kind of section that was still starting up. So I did training, I wrote manuals, I did whatever they needed, but I gained so much experience. So I think one of the things I found frustrating is when new people join our business and kind of just want to stick to what they think their job description is. I would just say do as much as you can across the business. Go, and finance for me is a great way of being able to do that, because you really, if you are in a finance department, should understand exactly what's happening everywhere. And so why is marketing doing that? What's happening in HR? Because you're seeing the finance effect of that. So it helps to then get stuck in and really understand what's going in those departments. Learn as much as you can. When you start your own business, you are everything. If I was HR, finance, marketing, the whole thing, and having that experience really helps. Also, building relationships really helps. I call on a lot of those relationships still. People who are in the IT sector, and I need advice on our website, and I've got this really senior person with great experience that I can call on as a friend to say, can you give advice here? And that is because I built good relationships. So that would be my first encouragement. Whether you're going to start your own business or not, I would say that just, if you're going to work in a business, just go all in. Secondly, it worked for me to start it on the side. So I naturally carry anxiety around certain things, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs might do that as well. So I just think it's worthwhile talking about it. It can all look great, and I don't know that my team, well, some of them would, but not all of them would look at me and go, she suffers from anxiety around certain things. But there have been certain days in this business where I felt paralyzed by this fear of this payroll that I know is coming at the end of the month. And we've never not been able to pay it, but still, at the start of every month, I have this unrealistic voice in my head that says, is anyone going to buy my product this month? Because you start again on the first day of every month. That freaks me out. So, and it takes me the first 2 weeks to be like, oh, okay, it's going to be okay. Even though it never hasn't been okay. It doesn't seem realistic, but you just have to know where your weakness is, and all of us have it. What is that thing that's going to cause that anxiety? Because when you have your own business, it's going to be amplified. If I had just started straight off the bat, quit my job and done this, I would have maybe been so paralyzed around that thing, because it takes time. It takes time to build up cash flow. It takes time to build up business. So it made more sense. Actually, in retrospect, I didn't necessarily think about it at the time, but to have done it the way I did, started on the side, build slowly, go full time when you can. And then have people, again, that you can talk to around any anxieties that you are feeling. So luckily for me, my husband is in the business, and that's worked really well for us, because it is full on, and we are, maybe not we, I am that A-type personality. I also like things to happen quite quickly, and sometimes I think my team are like, oh, it's like another new product or another new thing, or we're going here, we're doing this. That's part of our success, though, is kind of keeping that dynamic ability that it can tire people out. My husband is the steady rock, so I'll sit down with him sometimes at night and go, oh my goodness, this is what I'm feeling, and he'll say to me, but it's unrealistic, or, I mean, he's not even an accountant, but he's a quantity surveyor, so he understands numbers, but he'll say to me, but some months are up and some months are down, and at least, let's make sure we're looking at a quarter, and are we doing well in the quarter? And I think, gosh, that's so reasonable, but, sometimes even with all my foresight and my vision and my passion, I can still get caught in that fear. So you have to have people around you, and you have to be able to build that network. I would say do it slowly. I'm not a jump all in. And also, I know of people who are waiting for their business plan to be perfect before they roll it out. Just go for it. I launched a website with 3 products. The website developer said to me, "You nuts, how are you ever going to sell 3 products?" And I said, well, just wait. We don't have to sell many. I just want to get the brand out there, and I need somewhere to push people. So we launched with 3 products, and we quickly added more hot drinks range or whatever, and it grew. And now we've got, I don't know, whole lots, I don't even know, 60 products or something. And we now have other people's products on our site, so that you can come and shop here and get the other things that you need. And I think that will still grow over time. I just got out there. I just, dipped my toe in the water. The other nice thing about starting that way is it's not a massive investment. So it's not like I'd taken all the savings, and said, boom, this whole thing's on the line. Maybe there are some businesses like that where you've just got to take that risk. Others you don't. Start a website, learn how to do stuff yourself. I learned how to do my own Google ads. I learned how to run my own Facebook ads. I've never done it before. You can learn anything if you just go to Udemy or just Google it. I did all of that myself and just grew that way. So I could work my job during the day and I could manage my website at night and my social media and just let it grow. But at least you're out there. And you know what? You never know where that will go. So my number one goal for the future is to create a sustainable business that can keep these people and more employed for the long term. And I want to create a happy place for people to work where there's no fear. I've worked in fear-based organizations before, and I just don't think it's necessary. So I want people to feel loved. I want them to feel excited about coming to work, and I want them to be part of something bigger than themselves. So that's kind of on the one side. In order to do that, I feel that there's this opportunity just to take the brand to the next level. Like we said, expand into new markets. I've got some stuff we want to do on the website side, maybe some secondary brands, different, not only kind of the health market we're looking at, there's some other things we want to expand into. And just, I want to create a sustainable business at the end of the day, whatever that looks like. We know that nothing is certain in this world. COVID has showed us that. And so I think you get to a point where you just want to create a business that can withstand another COVID, whatever's going to happen in South Africa, more load shedding, whatever it is. You just want to create a sustainable business. That is my current goal. I don't think that'll be the end. It sounds a bit boring, but actually there's a lot to that. We want to go after other retailers offshore, other markets. We want to start a UK website. There's a lot involved in that. But I think the crux of it is just creating something sustainable. And I would love to see people who started here as a packer in this room being able to send their kids to varsity. There would be like nothing better for me. I still just look at this on certain days and think, how is this even real? I just actually can't even comprehend how this has happened. And what joy. I think if you are an entrepreneur doing it all for yourself and your own gain, I think you're missing out. I think there's just so much more. And I think there have been moments where I thought, it would be nice if we made enough money for whatever. And now I'm like, maybe, but actually, how much more exciting to be able to see my team lifted up to another level, to be able to employ more people, upskill them, people who were housekeepers and gardeners and whatever else, now with real skill and real leadership ability that just never would have been seen otherwise. That's where there's true joy. And I just hope for people watching, if you want to start a business, it could be one person. It could be that you want to create a clothing design business and you're going to employ a seamstress. Just create a business where that woman can go on and actually do more than she would have before. That is the joy in starting your own business. I think if you can't find that joy, it can be a very lonely road being an entrepreneur, and it can be a very stressful road because there are days where the weight of the amount of bills that you're carrying is a lot. So you've got to find joy outside of yourself and your own game.